Welcome to the LynnSanity, a podcast for the Running Hook Podcast Network.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the LynnSanity podcast, a part of the Running Hook Podcast Network. And before you get to any particular podcast or you get into the whole details, I'll just make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. And look, the way that I see it is YouTube is the best for you. You can see me. You actually can see me in person. It's a 5-star every time you see my face. Then we got plenty of content coming for you. Don't be afraid to rate, review, and subscribe to our stuff. We have plenty of things coming for you. We have Zach Circle City Cinema, which has been piling up content. That's fantastic. And, the Battleground might be cooking up something. We will see. And that will have Zach and Bryce on it as well if that happens. And from there, we will, like I said, let you enjoy this particular podcast of LynnSanity. And that'll lead us right into what I think we need to start off with. I'm going to switch it up. We've been really leading with Suns Clippers, which is respectable. I mean, look, it's been a great series, but let's talk some Hawks and Bucks. Bryce Shadday, I want your initial thoughts on the series. I want your initial thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks going up 2-1, and I want your initial thoughts on the fact that at one point you didn't think this team could contend, and apparently they're up 2-1 in a series. So I'm just curious, how much have they proven you wrong? I guess that's the real question. And Zach, you might want to chip in on that too, by the way.
Well, a lot. They've proven them wrong every step of the way.
I'm not buying it, guys. Come on now. Let's be honest. You guys know that if the Nets were healthy, this would be Nets and the Hawks in this series. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're just so what iffy.
You're not
That's
wrong.
Face the reality. The Bucks are up 2-1. Face the reality.
Yes, they've been playing very well. They've responded extremely well.
All right, so talk about it then. Quit talking about the Nets like your little child, like your little baby child.
Okay.
What'd you name him? You're gonna name your kid? You're gonna name your kid Kevin Durant Shadday? What are you gonna name? Is that what you're gonna name your kid?
What's it to you?
Yeah, because that's basically you get sunned by Durant, so I'll call your kid Kevin Durant Shadday.
What?
Oh, here we go.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm calling your kid Kevin Durant Shadday. If he continues to bring up the Brooklyn Nets, I'm going to continue to do it.
Okay. Look, the Bucks have been playing extremely well after that opening loss. Kind of an embarrassing loss, really, at home. First game, they get slapped in the mouth by Trae Young. The Bucks have come back with a vengeance. Giannis came back in game 2, did MVP things. And then we get to game 3 and we see Chris Middleton close out the game. How many points did he have in the fourth quarter? I don't remember.
20
points. And they won by a significant amount to the point where you weren't sitting on the edge of the seat waiting for Giannis to be hacked the rest of the game. And it come down to that. And the Bucks were able to withstand a great Trae Young game once again. He was hot in that game. The thing I keep scratching my head on, guys, is the thing that we keep coming back to. Atlanta's offseason signings.
Oh, I didn't mention it. I didn't mention this. Let's have this on the record. I didn't mention this.
Somebody other than
this is on
Caleb
you, Bryce.
brought this up.
No, this is on you. All right, go ahead.
Stunning development.
Danilo Gallinari, where you at? If I hear anything more in the chat about these signings, I will lose my freaking mind.
Was 18 points on 4 rebounds good for you though? I was good for me. Was that not good for you? Gallinari had a good game.
No, because these were their premier signings. No, it's not good enough for me. Has Bogdanovich even cracked double digits?
Don't think so.
Well, he's hurt a little bit. You're not going to.
Shut up, Caleb. Shut up. Don't make excuses for.
No. I'm just going to.
Shut up.
No, he has not cracked double digits.
It's ridiculous that you're making excuses for this abomination that
we're seeing. I'm just giving you context of the situation.
And let me just say, if Atlanta refuses to sign John Collins, they're fools. He has been outstanding.
John Collins in perhaps his last game in Atlanta.
He's just been flat out outstanding.
Saying that a lot.
Capella's been good. John Collins has been good. Trae Young has been great.
Wow. Okay, I'm a little surprised that you brought it up the way you did. Now, Zach, what about you here? I mean, Chris Middleton, 38 points in his last game with 11 rebounds and 7 assists, and Giannis is putting up dominant numbers. But here's the thing I want you to ask yourself, Zach. Here's the thing I really want your perspective on. I mean, Drew Holiday kind of went ice cold in game 3, but he played very good in game 2, and he played really good in game 1. So my question to you is, I mean, we're probably seeing a bounce back. How are we looking at the Drew Holiday situation right now in the series?
No concern on my end. I mean, he was very good on defense in all 3 games. Chris Middleton made it so that Drew Holiday didn't have to do too much offensively. And Giannis, for that matter. Chris Middleton, perhaps the game of his life.
Right.
In game 3. 38 points in 42 minutes, 20 of which came in the final period.
Incredible.
Sure.
I saw a stat that he outscored the Hawks in the fourth quarter by himself. It was like 20-17 in favor of Chris Middleton. It's ridiculous. Bryce, to answer your question, Bogdanovich, game 1 he had 4 points, game 2 he had 8 points. Game 3 he had 8 points on 3 for 16 from the field, but that's neither here nor there. Danilo Gallinari was honestly probably their best player after Trae Young got hurt. I mean, he stat-wise at least, he probably was.
Sure.
But look, we've talked about the contract and what a joke that is, so I don't really need to go over that. But the story, besides Chris Middleton and Giannis, who has, by the way, just been absolutely dominant.
Sure.
And they're complementing each other very well.
Sure.
In ways that we simply haven't seen to this point since they've been playing together. Bobby Portis.
Yep.
Finally getting some run. Plus 17 in this game. He had 15 points in 16 minutes.
Why did they just forget about him?
I don't know. Bryce and I were talking about this. Bobby Portis, possible Pacers target in the offseason, but we shall see. We shall see. Brook Lopez, on the other hand, minus 17. Yeah, minus 17. Trae Young injury may have just fucked the Hawks because, going into the fourth quarter, this was a close game. I mean, Chris Middleton had to score 20 points in the final quarter, and they won by 11, I think. But I am officially burying the Hawks. I'm burying the Hawks right now. And it's nothing they've done. It's nothing they've done. It's just a matter of, it came out today, Trae Young has a bone bruise in his foot. And you could just tell when he came back from the locker room, he was not himself. I think we would all three agree on that.
I agree.
I agree.
So if he's out, not out, but if he's not at least like 90%,
sure.
Because even with the shoulder thing, he hasn't been 100% for like a round and a half. Who's the go-to on offense? Is it Collins? Is it Herter? It can't be Bogdan because he's been awful. And he's hurt too. So they're in a real conundrum there. You're going to be seeing serious Lou Williams minutes unless this injury
I'll agree with that.
magically goes away.
Yeah.
Lou Williams, by the way, who has had a solid playoffs. Probably the best playoffs of his career, if we're being honest. But listen, give me the Bucks in 5. And I hate to do it. I hate to do it because the Hawks have been shutting everyone up, for the whole playoffs. But I just think the Trae Young thing, the foot, it could be the dagger. So I'm going Bucks in 5. I think they closed it out in Milwaukee in Game 5.
And Zach, I'm really not going to push back on that because I can see it. I mean, you kind of see the turning of the corner, right? And I think this is big for Giannis, especially to have that killer instinct and put the foot on the throat and finish this thing off. Middleton got the ball rolling with that in game 3.
But they can't do that against contenders, right, Price? Right, Price? That's been your problem, right?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right.
He's making a point, Caleb. He's making a point.
I understand. I'm just making a point. I'm saying he doubted this Bucks team. All of a sudden, he's in love with them right now.
No, I didn't say no. I'm not in love with the Bucks.
He's just saying they'll beat the Hawks.
I picked the Bucks to win this series. and if I recall, Caleb, you picked the Hawks to win this series.
Yes, I'll be different.
Shut up, Caleb. Just shut up.
By the way, let me address that.
I'll be different. Go ahead.
Hypocrisy. Yes, hypocrisy. Because listen, Bogdanović has been bad this series, but for the most part this season, he's made you shove it. He's made you shove it, hasn't he?
I wouldn't say that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay. What? Fine. Whatever.
No, I mean, here's what I'll
I'll give you Gallinari. I'll give you.
Here's what I'll say. In this regular season, has he been a better player than I said he was? Yes. But what's he done in the postseason? No, sure, I'll shove it. Sure. Sure. But I'm not shoving it in the postseason. I know that.
Yeah, well, you've had to eat it on.
No. I am not shoving it in the postseason. I'm not.
Look, first two rounds.
I'll shove it in the sense of I'll say he was better than I expected. I'll say that.
I agree with you that he's not worth the money, and certainly Gallinari's not worth the money. But, and if I had to, if it was up to me, if I was Travis Schlenk, I would be like, all right, I want one of these guys, not both. That was a mistake in my mind.
Well, and let's think about this, guys. If Bogdanović, if that trade actually went through with the Bucks, how much different does this Bucks team look?
Nobody's talking about that either, Bryce.
No, I think it's a wrinkle that you got to think about.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's talking about how Bogdanović is on the other side of the Bucks, and he almost played for them.
Right.
Barring, whatever the fuck happened at the 11th hour of that trade.
Let me say this right now. Okay. When it comes to the Hawks, okay, the way that I see it from the Hawks perspective, John Collins is their guy, man. Like, you see the way this team rallies around him. Let's not act like this can just be so replaceable and so easy to move off of, you guys. John Collins needs to get the bag. Okay, that's been clear and evident in this postseason. And, here's the one thing I will say that I think is really killing this team. And while some people on this network, particularly at least one of the gentlemen that is in this podcast with me right now, has been low on this guy. I mean, it would be nice to have a healthy Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish healthy would make a difference in this series.
I still don't know what you've seen from Cam Reddish.
No,
because because you would rather play Cam Reddish over Solomon Hill if Cam Reddish is healthy.
Okay, why are you completely discounting DeAndre Hunter though?
I'm not.
You are though.
No, I'm not.
You didn't even mention.
Let me explain
DeAndre
myself.
Hunter.
No, let me explain myself.
Sure. Please do.
Because the thing is, Cam Reddish came in, he's healthy. DeAndre Hunter is not healthy. They tried to get Cam Reddish on the active roster, but he's clearly not the same, so they can't play him. It's two different situations, Bryce. DeAndre Hunter cannot play. He has no chance of playing. He's hurt. He is done. Cam Reddish is on the bench, but the problem is you're just not getting the same Cam Reddish because of the injury. There is a difference. There's a huge difference.
How good is a healthy Cam Reddish anyway?
Good enough to be playing in this series and give you good defensive minutes, and he's a good enough cutter and slasher.
No, I'm not buying that.
No, come on, you guys. You're being.
I'm not
he
buying
gives you
that.
some minutes. Why?
I haven't seen enough. I don't know what you've seen where you're like, oh yeah. I mean, who are you going to throw him out on? Who are you going to go put Reddish on?
Who can I put Reddish on?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Look at the minutes on Milwaukee right now from the last couple games. Just look at them. Okay. The way that I see it is I'm comfortable with a guy like Cam Reddish on a Pat Connaughton type. Okay, I'm comfortable with the Reddish getting thrown at. You have to throw some people out there. If I got to throw Middleton out there, I got to throw Middleton out there. And I got to throw Reddish.
Solomon Hill
I'll throw
can
Reddish
guard
on him.
Pat Connaughton.
Solomon Hill is not a guy that you would ideally want to play if you're the Hawks because you have DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish. What's the problem with this? No, you two are former Pacer. You're Pacer fans. You're supporting your former Pacer. That's what it's coming down to.
No,
look,
stop it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'd hardly call him a Pacer.
What would you call him? He's been there for years. What would you
call him? A guy that sucked
him?
money out of our organization.
Wow,
I would agree.
Wow. So you're telling me a guy who's been in your organization for 3 years is not a Pacer? Never was a Pacer?
No, he was a Pacer. We're just saying. Listen.
Played 29 minutes a game in 2014, 2015.
Okay,
yes.
That was
Solomon Hill.
Don't
talk about that season. We don't talk about that season.
I'm just making it. I'm just saying it's not like he just didn't play.
He played. A lot of guys play, Caleb.
I understand, but you're talking about him like he's just this ridiculous player, and he
Do
shouldn't
they
be
need
mentioned.
Solomon Hill? No.
No, they don't. I agree. But here's the other thing that I think we have to keep an eye on, especially in this series, is like Kevin Huerter. I think he has to step up if this team wants to win this series. Like, he's the guy. He is the player. He is the guy that has to say, look, Bogdanovich is hurt. I have to be able to get my shot off in a more efficient way. And a part of that is obviously teams are going to play harder on him just because, number one, he's had issues with dribbling the ball. And number two, I mean, really, if you look at his three-point shot, it's shockingly not been like, it's good, but there's some games where it's just like, it's I'm looking at it right now, like in the second round, 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 0 for 4, 2 of 6. He was 1 of 6 in game 1, 2 of 5 in game 2 in this series, and then he was 43% in game 3. I mean, that's what I kind of need. I need Kevin Huerter to probably shoot more. I need him to shoot better. 37% is what he shot in game 3, 30% in game 2. You know, Kevin Huerter got a lot of praise for what he did in game 6 and game 7, particularly in the closeouts when it mattered. And look, he was able to do that, and he did a great job of it. But the way that I see it is you have to step up when it matters. This is a guy that I really like. Zach hates. And the fact is that I see this working out. I see Kevin Huerter having a big game tomorrow. Let's hope Kevin Huerter has a big game. And, maybe it moves them up 2 apiece. I'm not denying my Hawks of potentially getting this. I'll call them my Hawks. Sure, why not?
Stop it.
I'm the only one on the network rooting for them in this series. I'm only one of the network wanting them in this series.
Which is a joke.
I'll just call them the Hawks. I'll just call the Hawks. Even though I've been told I hate on the Hawks. I picked the Hawks.
You do hate on the Hawks.
No, I know, because I picked
shitting on
you
them.
had to come around on Trae Young this season. You had to eat it on Trae Young this season.
I picked them. Where were you at? I picked them.
No. And
yes,
you're gonna miss on that pick.
No, all right, but I'm not missing on the Hawks because I know what I'm watching. That's
You're about to miss on the Hawks.
I know what I'm watching. I like the Hawks. I like that team. If they're out, okay, fine, but it's house money.
How do you go from picking a squat on a franchise?
This team is house money. This team is playing with house money right now.
So that means you're allowed to shit on them and then do a 180?
No. I said
this is about as bad as me and James Harden.
No, it's not. This team was. Oh, yeah. This team was not as. They weren't that great in the beginning of the season. They just weren't.
No, they weren't.
They had the coach fired because of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a typical Caleb Lynn move right here. Backing down.
No, it's not.
Backing
up. Nate McMillan comes out, puts in a terrific coaching performance. He does a fantastic job with it. He should be getting the coaching job next year. And I'm telling you, I like what the Hawks are doing. Here's the thing.
Well, their GM sucks.
No, he absolutely doesn't suck. He's actually a really good GM. I just hate the two contracts. The way that I see it is no, it's not.
It doesn't make any sense, Caleb.
The two contracts. No. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
You've been slamming those contracts all year.
I have, and
the Rondo one before.
I have, and I'll continue to do it.
And then you're going to say
that doesn't mean that I think
Schlenk is awesome.
That doesn't mean that I think he's a bad general manager because he's had 2 bad moves in his stinking year.
2 in a row.
2 in a row. Fine.
His best move is firing Lloyd Pierce.
He didn't make a bad move on Trae Young. He didn't make a bad move on Clint Capella. He didn't make a bad move on DeAndre Hunter.
I'm not giving him Clint Capella.
Why
I'm
not?
not giving him Clint Capella.
Why not?
Because Rockets were doing a fire sale. They wanted Covington.
What did he do?
Covington fell into their lap.
Look, the way that I see it is I think he's made some nice moves, and he's put this team in position to be a real contender for the next couple of years.
Hey, they can have
I
Brogdon.
have to give credit to that.
They can have Brogdon.
Yes, they can. They can absolutely have him.
I'm intrigued. What's the package? What's the package? What do you want back? You want Bogey?
No.
I'll take Bogey over Brogdon.
Wow.
Yeah.
For real? Like as an overall player?
Overall,
Or just as a fit?
Just as a fit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't try to corner us, Caleb. That's ridiculous.
No.
I think
I'm
LeVert's
just
more than
clarifying
capable
for
of
the
running
audience.
offense.
Clown stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Look, all I'm saying is I think this Hawks team has got something that I like. I think they could come into game 4 and tie this series up to a piece. And I'm sorry that I'm the only one in the network that has any belief.
Oh, here we go.
Which is a joke.
Cry me a river, Caleb.
No, it's not. I picked this team. I picked this team.
Hey,
I will eat it alive.
Zach, isn't it very convenient? He's on vacation next week. That's very convenient.
Very.
Whatever. Look, the way that I see it, it should be a fun series to follow. Here's the other thing I feel like we need to touch on with this series is, I think, Zach, you mentioned it a little bit, and I kind of want to go a little deeper into it, is Bobby Portis. What exactly, like Milwaukee didn't play him, but Milwaukee didn't play him because of what? What was the logic? What's the point? You're really going to tell me Thanasis Antetokounmpo has been getting more of a, getting a call off the bench than Bobby Portis? Come on. Bobby Portis is way better than Thanasis Antetokounmpo. Thanasis Antetokounmpo was playing because his brother's the best player on the team. And I don't think I'm wrong for that.
No, I don't think
you're not.
So I think the thing is, this is something that Mike Budenholzer finally figured out. But since he's winning, you can't really critique it. But I'm telling you, I think Bobby Portis, no shock to me that he's playing this well. And he's so going to want out if you don't trust him when it matters. He's so going to want out. Because right now, they just played him to play him, and he played like he always has.
Pacers, baby.
So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Next up for me, I'm going to flip it up a little bit. I was going to talk Clippers Suns, but I feel like we need to talk the coaching carousel. Rumor has it that there's something potentially that came in the mail. Zach, was there something that came in the mail? Or was there something what was it? What was going on there, Zach?
Nothing came in the mail.
Nothing came in the mail.
No, I just had whenever you're ready, I can get into it.
Yeah, sure. There is something that you have wanted to talk about, particularly with this coaching movement. And I'm just curious, like, who could that be?
Well, give me a sec. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Kidd. The Dallas Mavericks looked themselves in the mirror and said, who's the worst coach we can find? And they found him. They didn't have to look very far because he used to play for him. Jason Kidd. Literally the absolute worst candidate that they could have hired. The absolute worst. 183 and 190. You know what that is? You know what that is, folks? That's his record as a head coach.
I was going to say, that sounds like a losing record.
Good coaching.
It's a losing record as a head coach. His best season was 2014 with the Nets, his only season with the Nets. 44 and 38 after they started 9 and 19.
Yikes.
A team full of vets who I'm guessing did most of the work. This was the team with Kevin Garnett, with Paul Pierce, with Jason Terry, Joe Johnson, Sean Livingston. I'm guessing they could work around the bad coach, Jason Kidd. His most notable coaching moment, folks, was having a dude run into him for a free timeout.
That's still my favorite. It's awesome. It's great.
And they lost that game, by the way.
Yeah.
Most notable coaching moment was spilling a Coke on the court to get a timeout.
Unbelievable. You hate to see it, folks.
His only playoff series win was against Toronto in 2014. If you'll remember, that was when
Alex's
Paul
Raptors.
Pierce blocked Kyle Lowry at the buzzer of Game 7. If you remember that.
Yep.
I do.
And then they got absolutely fucked in round 2 against Miami.
Sure.
If you remember, forced his way out of Brooklyn after adorably demanding more front office power. Adorable, folks. Adorable. Get him a rattle. The Nets happily traded him. Happily. To the Bucks, who immediately became finals contenders the season after he was fired. What did they do the season after Jason Kidd got fired? I'll tell you what they did. They won 60 games, and they came within 2 wins of the NBA Finals. And Giannis Antetokounmpo won the first of back-to-back MVP awards. That's what he did. He's in a horse race with Luke Walton for the title of worst NBA coach. And I'll say this. He is the worst NBA coach. And you know what I think of Luke Walton?
Wow.
Jason Kidd is the worst. And him and Walton are far and away the worst too. I'm giving it to Kidd.
Wow.
My poor grandfather,
This is a lot for you.
lifelong Dallas Mavericks fan, has already talked himself into this.
Oh, no.
His quote was, "It'll be good for Doncic, and he'll attract free agents." Well, let me tell you. I'm sorry to do this, but Jason Kidd will not be the one attracting free agents. It'll be Luka Doncic. And whatever blank check Mark Cuban writes him. That's going to be what's attracting him. And I'll eat it on Mark Cuban, because I have always said he was a great owner. But,
Yeah, you do need to eat this.
here is, if you folks remember, the quote from Mark Cuban when asked if Carlisle would return as head coach.
Yeah, this is really bad.
He said, "This is how I look at coaching. I only move on if the grass is green on the other side," or something like that. Well, folks, Rick Carlisle, a championship winning coach,
Yep.
has been to multiple conference finals,
Sure.
has won the Coach of the Year award before. Jason Kidd is greener on the other side than Rick Carlisle? What? Carlisle the Kid, perhaps the biggest coaching drop-off of the past decade. I can't think of one worse. Where you have a consensus top 5, top 7 coach, and you drop off to a hack. He's awful. He's awful. This is awful. The Mavs, you can put me down for this. The Mavs will miss the playoffs. They might make the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll make the play-in just because Doncic is so good. They will not make the top 6 seeds. They will not.
Holy cows.
They won't.
Jeez. Are you
Jeez.
locking that in?
I'm locking it in.
Oh,
Wow.
If this comes back to haunt me, so be it. But I think that's how bad Jason Kidd is he's going to lose them games that Rick Carlisle would have won them.
wow.
But it's indicting on how you feel about Cuban, though, Zach.
It is indicting.
on
It's
how you feel about
absolutely
Cuban.
indicting. This is a
Because
family
you were
hire.
defending him.
I was. And I'm ashamed because this is a family hire. This is a Mavericks family hire.
When there's other guys in your family that were better for the job.
Yes.
Mosley and Armstrong were better for the job. They
We
were
have
better for the
seasons.
job.
Yes, they were. We have multiple seasons of proof that Jason Kidd doesn't know what he's doing. Has no idea.
No.
And look, I'm sorry, but one of the reasons the Clippers series went to 7 games was because Rick Carlisle was the coach. You think Jason Kidd goes to 7?
Yeah, and we need to stop the narratives of Ty Lue outcoach Rick Carlisle. We need to stop that. You won because you had Kawhi Leonard.
Yes.
You won because you had Kawhi Leonard.
And Paul George.
Sure.
You were ignoring Paul George
Sure.
like usual.
Listen,
Sure.
you're going to, I'm guessing they're going to bring back basically the same roster, the Mavericks, besides, maybe Hardaway and, whoever else is a free agent. But the core is still going to be there.
But that's still just bringing that team back, is that enough?
I just said they're not going to be a top 6 seed.
Oh, gosh.
Kidd, that's how bad I think Kidd is. That's how low I think of Kidd.
Man.
He's awful. He is absolutely awful. Awful. Miss me on the Mavs next year. Miss me on Jason Kidd. I really like Luka Doncic. He's one of my 5 favorite players right now. But it's just sad.
But Zach, another man's trash is another man's treasure.
Absolutely. I should be thanking Mark Cuban, actually.
Yes. Rick Carlisle has come home. Back to Indiana, where he belongs. His rightful throne, where he should have won a title in 2004.
Yes.
And it was derailed by Pistons fans.
Which people are conveniently forgetting, Bryce.
Very, very, yes. And the narratives that Carlisle was trash when he was with us is misconstrued. And it tells me that y'all just forget about NBA history. And it's embarrassing. All the casuals that sit here and say that Rick Carlisle did nothing in Indiana, it's embarrassing. Because after that brawl, after Malice at the Palace, that team was dismantled. Tore apart.
Absolutely.
Artest, gone. Steven Jackson, gone. Jamal Tinsley, gone. And Zach, me and you discussed this. Carlisle still didn't do too bad. I mean, he's playing with guys like I can't even name him right now. I mean, it just
Reggie Miller in his last season.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he even got to round 2 with that team is unbelievable.
It's incredible. And Rick Carlisle will complete the circle for us. He will restore the franchise to where it shall be. We will get past the first round of the playoffs this coming season. Lock that in, Caleb Lynn. Lock it in.
Absolutely lock it in.
Into the second round, the Indiana Pacers, baby. Lock it in. Rick Carlisle, welcome, baby.
I mean, for me and Bryce, we're rejoicing at work. Absolutely.
We did. We went out to eat.
Yeah, we did.
For lunch because we were so happy.
This is one of the happiest days in my Pacers life. There's no doubt about it. And he's the best coach to hit the market since who?
It's a great question.
Doc?
I don't know.
I don't think Doc's on his level, but yeah.
I don't know.
And Rick really stuck it to the Mavs. Oh, I think Jason Kidd should be the next coach of the Dallas Mavericks.
One less team he has to worry about. Dallas Mavericks.
There you go, Mark. Enjoy that.
It's just
in all seriousness with this Dallas team. Like let's talk about that and then we'll get into Indiana. With the Dallas situation, as Zach mentioned, obviously there's a lot of questions with this entire team, rightfully so. But the other aspect that I have is, what has Jason Kidd done for young players? What kind of proof does he have?
Nothing.
There is no proof. There is no proof. Porzingis is, we can say he didn't have a great playoffs and all of that is totally understandable. And, I've always liked Porzingis, but the fact is he hasn't had a good playoffs. So if you have any chance of trying to redeem that, are you going to use Jason Kidd to redeem it?
No.
We were talking about Porzingis like a top 30 player when he got to Dallas.
We were.
No exaggeration. Porzingis had the talent to be a superstar. And I know you don't like that word, Bryce.
I don't.
But when he came into New York, he had a really great career in New York. Everybody thought that when he got to Dallas, and they could pair him with Doncic, he could become a superstar level big. His offense could be great enough. Now, I'm not saying that the level of superstardom is there, but do I think that he can be a better player than what he is? Abso-stinking-lutely. And Jason Kidd, I do not think will be able to do that, though I hope I'm proven wrong. Luka Doncic, obviously a player that obviously needs to get better, and you have a coach that's not been good with young players. Good luck with that. Jalen Brunson, a very promising young guard. Jason Kidd obviously was a great point guard during his time, but as we have said multiple times, Jason Kidd does not make young players better. He does not have a track evidence to ever show that. The way that I see it for the Dallas Mavericks is that players that you care about may not benefit by this hire, so why do you hire them? Unless you're going to try to here's the only argument that I have, Zach. Here's the only argument I have for Jason Kidd, if you're going to support the hire, is that Dallas wants to accelerate their timeline, sign some veterans, rather than developing their players, which goes against everything that they've done over the last 3 to 4 years. That's the only thing that makes sense to me about this hire for them. It's a total, I don't get it. But, let's talk about the guy that, the kid replaced in Carlisle. He went to the Pacers. And look, I love this fit. Fit.
Yeah.
He's a top 5 coach in the league. It's not close. He's a top 5 guy. He's probably top 3, maybe top 4. I mean, he is a very good coach. I think Rick Carlisle needs to be in that conversation, that top 5 conversation. You might have some different people on there, and that's fine. But I do think he has got a strong argument to be a top 5 guy. I feel like that's that's where I really stand.
No
top
doubt.
5 guy.
Oh, absolutely.
The way that I see it with Carlisle is that Carlisle is going to unlock Miles Turner offensively, which is the reason that I like this hire. Miles Turner is going to be better offensively because of Carlisle's hiring. Not to mention the fact that Carlisle will get very good production from guys like Karis LeVert, who I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but just hear me out. In terms of overall offensive play style and tutelage in the bag, LeVert's better than Hardaway, but LeVert's a bucket getter and Hardaway's a bucket getter. Hardaway got better under Carlisle. There's no reason that LeVert can't get even better.
No,
There's no reason that Karis LeVert can't be an all-star next season for the Pacers.
he will be.
There's no reason he can't be.
Lock it in.
Pacers,
he will be.
The Pacers have a very nice roster. Their depth is honestly top 3 in the East, maybe honestly top 5 in the league. The way that I see it with the Pacers is that this is a team that just needs to get good coaching. It needs to figure out their overall roster construction, which is something that we'll be able to talk about a little more once it gets there. Power Hour will probably take care of that for us, but I think that's a very exciting hire. Bryce, do you have any additional thoughts?
No, man, I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited that we have a coach. I'm such a Pacers degenerate because this has roped me right back in. I'm setting myself up for heartache.
But it should, though. No, it should.
No, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see what we do in the offseason. Carlisle is obviously going to have some pull in the front office, which is awesome. So I'm excited to see what roster moves we make. How are we going to get better? I think we have really good guys right now. How are we going to improve them? And how are we going to build around them? I think it's super intriguing. Now, I mean, there's still the Miles Turner trade rumors and things like that. But I don't know. Carlisle may want to keep it and see what we can do first. I think it's super interesting. I'm excited. I'm so excited.
Well, the Pacers have, some moves to obviously keep an eye on. McDermott, free agent, a guy that might want his money. McConnell might want his money. And, I mean, everybody's been looking at a Jeremy Lamb trade for quite a while, and the network's been pounding the table on Brogdon. So I think there's a lot to keep an eye on, and we'll see where that goes, and we'll have all that covered. Now, let's move on to the next hire, please. The Portland Trailblazers selecting Chauncey Billups as their head coach. Zach, you've been loving Chauncey Billups as a coaching candidate. Now, I mean, obviously, there were some things that came up, and there's some things that made it a little bit different for the Blazers. There's no question about that. And Zach, just to give some thoughts onto that, I mean, obviously, none of us at the network necessarily support his actions. I mean, he did settle. So we're not exactly sure if he did it, but look, I feel like as a network we need to say that. But the overall hire of Chauncey Billups as a basketball guy, Zach, you really like this hire. What do you think about how he came to Portland, and do you think that this is a hire Dame approved?
Well, I wanted the Pacers to hire him last year before we hired Bjorkgren. I didn't know about the past stuff, but I wanted him because he was unproven. Obviously, that didn't work out for us, hiring an unproven guy, but I wanted him because he kicked our ass when he was a player, and he just seemed like a smart basketball mind. Basketball-wise, I like the hire. I think it's going to be good for Dame. I don't see why he'd be upset with this. I know he wanted Jason Kidd, which honestly, Dame, blessing in disguise that he passed on it. Absolute blessing in disguise. But basketball-wise, I like the move. They're definitely going to make some big roster changes. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You could be seeing some pretty important guys that are on their team this year be gone in like a month or two. So I think this team's going to look really different. I don't think Damian Lillard is going anywhere. I'll believe it when I see it because, listen, this team has been in dire straits before. When LaMarcus Aldridge left, along with, I think, 3 other starters, he didn't ask out. When they got swept by the Pelicans in the first round, he didn't ask out. So I don't see why. I don't see why he wouldn't give this a chance. I know Billups, the past, whatever. I don't know why that didn't come up last year when he was a candidate. I have no idea, but it came up this year, and it's a problem, something that has to be addressed. I don't, obviously don't like it, but it is, I don't know. It's complicated. Somebody smarter than me should talk about it, but it's not what you want. I'll say that. It's not what you want at all. But basketball-wise, I like it. I will believe it when I see it when Lillard gets traded. He just has never struck me as the guy who says, get me out of here.
Yep.
Everything he's done to this point has shown he's loyal to the Portland franchise. So, I don't think he's going anywhere. I'd be shocked. I'd be absolutely shocked.
Well, hey, Zach, I got a joke for you if you want to hear it, okay? You want to hear it?
Sure.
There's a guy that's in this podcast who thought the Portland Trailblazers would be a second-round, maybe conference final-like team.
Here we go.
So I want him to help me with the Chauncey Billups hire. After all, you had to have liked Terry Stotts. You had to have liked the roster. So is Chauncey Billups going to improve this roster enough to make them what you believe the Blazers are, Bryce?
I certainly think there's a potential for it. I think Chauncey Billups has been a coach in waiting for, a couple of years now. I think it's a wild card hire. Obviously he seems like a pretty intelligent guy. Other than, some mistakes that he's made in the past that are now coming to light once again. I think Dame should give it a chance here. If he truly is unhappy and he might request out, I think he should just hang tight for a minute. Hang tight. I think if anything, it's more so the front office than it is the coaching staff. Neil, what's his name? Olshey? Is that it? Olshey. I think he's got to make a big splash. I really do. And unfortunately, I think it's going to involve the CJ McCollum type player. You got to move him and get some defense, and you got to keep that level of scoring up as well. So I don't know. I'm fine with the Chauncey Billups hire. Obviously, I'm not fine with, his past actions, like Zach mentioned. Sure. I don't think we really need to touch on that too much, but I'm fine with it. He's been a top tier candidate for, like I said, a couple of years. So why not?
Yeah, that's how I felt. Bryce, top tier candidate guy that made a lot of sense. Obviously, I didn't know much about the actions, and then all of a sudden it got brought up again, and begged you to wonder whether it was the right fit. But I feel like over time, unless something else happens, I mean, Chauncey seems like he's got, himself in the right place. There's no reason that the Clippers wouldn't have, would have hired him as an assistant coach if there were some things that he was doing that was questionable. There's no reason that ESPN would have hired him if he was doing things questionable. There's no reason the Cleveland Cavaliers would have offered him a legitimate president of operations position unless he was not in, if he was in a, bad place or whatever. I see this fit very good for Damian if he does stay. Though I think if I'm him, I think I would realize my ability to get where I need to go is done there. But I would say that, this is a hire that I think makes sense. It's an upgrade over Terry Stotts. I'd highly doubt if Terry Stotts gets another head coaching job. Terry Stotts, when he had a good roster, we showed what he was doing. I don't think Terry Stotts gets the Orlando job. I don't buy that. I don't think he gets the Pelicans job. I don't buy that. I don't think he gets the Wizards job. He may get one in like 2 or 3 years. I just don't think he gets one immediately. Like, I think we kind of know what he is.
Can I lock something in?
Go ahead.
Oh.
Damian Lillard will not be traded.
Oh, we got 2 lock-ins from Zach?
He is very hard pressed on this.
All this bullshit on Twitter today of fake deals, 8 first rounders from the fucking Pistons for Damian Lillard. It's not happening. I would be absolutely dumbfounded and shocked if it happened. I just miss me on all the trade rumors. I don't care if Chris Haynes is Damian Lillard's guy. I don't care. Unless Damian Lillard tweets something like, I don't want to be here, like Eric Bledsoe, I'll believe it. But
it was Eric Bledsoe that tweeted that? Yeah, Eric B from New Orleans.
Eric B from NOLA tweeted that. Sorry, Eric. But no, miss me on all the Lillard trade rumors. Miss me. He will be there all season. They'll make the playoffs. No, I'm still a believer he's going to retire there. So miss me on all the Lillard trade talk. Miss me.
I mean, here's the thing. If he really does say I want out, I do think he is going to have some sort of, hey, I have a list of teams. This is the teams I am wanting to go to. And I feel like that's going to happen. The way that I see it is he's going to look, what are they going to do? Is Nurkic a guy they're going to want to bring back for a whole lot of money? Carmelo Anthony in that big of a role, I would have to think they would want to improve that. I just think this is a team that's got a lot more problems than we realize, and it's bigger than coaching. An arrogant general manager who all of a sudden goes, hey, my roster's perfect. Hey, my roster's really good.
Joke. Hey,
the problem isn't my roster. Well, your problem is drafting, good sir. That's your problem.
Zach Collins?
Think about it. If you're a small market team, I don't care who you are. If you can't draft, good luck. You're screwed. Because if you look at their drafts, could you make a legitimate argument that over the last 5 to 6 years that Anthony Simons is the best draft pick the Blazers have had?
Gary Trent.
Well, Gary Trent, you have to think about he's off the team. You can't.
Okay, all right.
I'm not saying guys on the team. I'm saying guys that are on the team. I'm saying guys that are in the building. Like, come on, Bryce. Are we really going to say Zach Collins after Zach Collins has missed multiple years with injuries? Are we really? I'm serious. This is a very indicting thing that the Blazers don't get enough crap for. They've never gotten enough crap for in the Olshey era. They've never gotten enough crap for it. And I'm telling you right now, that's a Terry Stotts problem too. And Chauncey Billups has to prove that he can develop guys in the right way. That's one somewhat easy fix to just do to make your roster better. And I think they've struggled with that. They have to get better at that with this Billups hire. I believe he can make that better, but I understand why Dame wants to leave. If I was Dame, I'd want to go to Philly. Next up, we got the Clippers and the Suns, which is the Western Conference, finals, and the Phoenix Suns are up. They're up with the chance to clinch. Their game is happening tonight. We will not know the details or anything like that after the pod is submitted. But let's talk about the series in general. Let's not try to get too specific game wise. Bryce, I want your opinion here first. Bryce, I know at one point you were having a very tough time deciding between the Clippers. You thought the Clippers were going to have it, but obviously Kawhi Leonard couldn't get healthy, and it is what it is. He might get healthy later, but at this moment, it doesn't seem like he's going to get healthy. Meanwhile, Zubac was out for this game. That's going to happen tonight. So it's very possible Phoenix is going to clinch this, and they're going to move on in 5 games, right, Bryce?
It's over. It's over. This is a gentleman's sweep for the Suns, period. I think Chris Paul is going to close this series out with the help of Devin Booker. Devin Booker will get his, which, by the way, Devin Booker has been playing outstanding this series, despite the broken nose. 25 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Just been outstanding. He still hasn't shot the 3 ball well. And I've been saying that all playoffs. I'm telling you. And once he finds his stroke from 3, it's going to be a long, long night for teams. DeAndre Ayton, who we've been on all playoffs, showed the heck up. He had the Valley Oop to win the game. And then he had 19 and 22 in a playoff game, in a very tough playoff game that the Clippers could have very easily won. They could have stole from Phoenix. Calls were going against the Suns in every way possible, but neither team could hit a shot for the life of them. And what did it come down to again? A Paul George missed free throw. I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying.
Oh, my God.
I'm just saying.
No, it did not.
I'm just saying.
No, it did not.
Okay. I'm just
Do
saying.
not act like a Paul George missed free throw.
I'm just
is
saying.
the reason that they lost the game.
I'm just saying. Now, let me say
That is
this.
a load of.
Let me say this. Let me say
Missed
this.
free throw. It was by somebody else.
Let me say this. Paul George has been outstanding in this series as well. He's averaged 28, 10, and 6. He's done everything in this series.
It's fake. This is fake.
Except make clutch free throws, baby.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah. Crunch time free throws.
No, oh my God.
No. Here's my problem.
No, you critique him more than any other superstar in the NBA.
No, and don't label him as a superstar. Stop that.
No, you label him. You critique him more than any top level player in the NBA.
Let me say this. Where was the excuses for Kevin Durant? Where was the he's just tired? There was none of that. In fact, there was KD slander out there.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
From who?
Dude, just go look on Twitter.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh.
I don't know why.
Oh my gosh.
It was out there.
Small percentage. A small percentage.
It was definitely out there.
Do not sit here and act like there was a lot of Kate. Do not sit here and give me that. Paul George gets more slander from you than anybody else in the freaking league. And meanwhile, you're going to come in here and be like, oh, you're going to hold up to the same standard as Kevin Durant.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No, I'm saying no. Here's what I'm saying. People didn't give KD a pass for being tired.
That is
like
ridiculous.
Now people are giving Paul George a pass for being tired. Which, by the way, he's only shooting 70% from the free throw line. You expect more than that. Zubac is shooting a better free throw percentage than Paul George is.
I agree. That's not good. I agree.
Right.
But if Paul George has been a top 5 player this playoffs,
Yes,
and you're
he
going to sit
has.
up here,
Yes.
and have the audacity. Zach, what are your thoughts? I'm sorry, Bryce, that you're still mad about those moments with Paul George.
Yourself, I'm playoff P, and you also want to say I'm going to be on everybody's butts this season. Okay, dude. Okay. If you want to go out there and project yourself like that, you should be expected to be critiqued like that. Like you are a top
No, you
player.
critique him more than that. That's your problem. Zach, what about you?
Why
What are your
shouldn't
thoughts?
I? It's ridiculous.
My third lock in tonight.
3. Jeez.
Yeah. By this time tomorrow, the Phoenix Suns will be in the NBA Finals.
Wow.
They will be waiting for the Bucks.
Let's hope they make it, because this is going to look very bad if they don't.
I don't care.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I don't care. I've locked in the Mavs are going to be in the play-in, and I've locked in Damian Lillard's not getting traded. I'm more than happy to lock in this. The Suns will be in the NBA Finals tomorrow. They'll be in the finals.
I love it.
DeAndre Ayton, Bryce, you said it. 19 and 22. Absolute monster. Shouldn't come as a surprise anymore. For some reason, it does to some. 9 offensive rebounds. 9.
9.
Along with 4 blocks. He has been. How do I put this? Man, I don't know how to say this. He has been a top 5 player for the playoffs. Period.
Seriously.
Period.
Rank him.
Of course, rank him.
Of course he has him to rank him.
Rank him. You can't just come out there with the statement like that and then not do it. So do it.
I would say, well,
or give me your 5, or just give me your 5. I
thought
care.
Kawhi was number 1 before he got hurt. So does Kawhi still count?
It's your list.
It's your list.
I'll say Kawhi. I will say Giannis, Durant. All right, he's not top 5. Never mind.
Because you got to put Paul George, and I think you almost have to put Middleton in
You
there.
have to put Booker in there.
Booker.
You have to put Trae Young in there. Yeah, he's not top 5. Forget it.
No, but there's an argument for top 10.
But he has been nothing short of dominant in the entire postseason.
Yeah.
He outplayed Anthony Davis. He hustled Anthony Davis. Hustled him. He was step for step with Jokic. Step for step. And Zubac, who has had a great series, he just dropped 19 and 22 on him. I mean, there have been games where he was the best player on the Suns. Game 4 was a prime example. I think it's fair to say he was the best player on the Suns for Game 4.
Yeah. He was great. He picked it up.
Yeah. And he had to. Booker, yes, he had 25 points.
Yeah.
I said it.
He struggled.
He was 8 for 22 from the field. 8 for 22. Chris Paul, I don't think had a great shooting night either. I'm not a fan of Torrey Craig just not playing. I know Nader came back, but I don't know. Give me Craig over Nader. Mikal Bridges, 13 rebounds. Didn't have a great scoring night, but hey, I'm going to grab 13 boards just because.
Sure.
Because nobody on the Clippers can guard me.
That'll help.
George, it will absolutely help. Paul George, he's still playing great, but I mean, he's clearly winded. And Bryce, you can say this is an excuse or what, and maybe it is on some level, but I think it's a fact because you guys saw that stat. He's played like 150 minutes more than the next guy.
Sure, it absolutely is a fact.
And he's had to. To. I will not hold this against him if they lose tonight because you can make a case this has been the best postseason of his career. It definitely is since he left the Pacers. No doubt.
Right. So let me clarify. I'm not going to hold this against him. Okay. Obviously, the deck is stacked against him. All I'm saying is for him to have these moments. Okay. I'm not saying win the series, but I'm saying have these moments where you're stealing games from the Phoenix Suns basically by yourself with Reggie Jackson as your number 2. Okay. He makes 2 free throws. They steal a game. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay. No, you're not wrong.
And then if he makes that free throw in the last game, I believe it was a very crucial free throw. I mean, it was to the point where Steve Ballmer visibly reacted to it in disappointment.
I mean, it could be 3-1 Clippers right now.
It absolutely could be. And that's the difference. That's what I'm saying is you have these opportunities.
Sure.
You label yourself, you put yourself out there and you make comments about yourself.
Yeah.
Why should you not be critiqued in the same way?
But you're thinking you're acting like there's a bigger amount of people that sit there and hate on Durant. Paul George is probably the most hated star in the league. He gets the most slander in the league
because he's labeled himself.
No, because I agree that some of it is on him. A lot of it's on him. But I think to a certain extent, he has been playing like a top 5 guy in the playoffs. Obviously, you want his free throw shooting to be better, but I just can't ask for more than what he's giving me. The fact is, he's doing more than I expected with Kawhi out. He's competing in games more than I expected. The Clippers are right there in every game, despite the fact that everybody wants to sit here and say they played too much stinking games because it didn't have enough rest, which I understand. The Clippers to me. They got. If they lose this series, okay.
Yeah. So
all right. Conference finals. It's great. Now I understand your guys' argument.
History.
Yes. And I understand your argument behind, all this stuff with Lou and the free throws and all that jazz. But it's like, I think this team is like about as close to E as you can get. The Phoenix Suns are red hot. And you know what? I'm not going to let some of this, the Clippers are playing, the Clippers have not had as much rest days, because at the end of the day, the Suns took care of their business. They took care of their business, and they took care of their business handily.
Yeah.
They took care of their business handily. So if the Clippers can't get it done earlier, well, that's on them. If the Clippers got to take 7 games to beat the Dallas Mavericks, that's on them. If the Clippers got to take 6 games or, whatever the case might be for the Jazz, that's on them.
Now, is it bullshit that they had to turn around 2 days later after beating the Jazz and play the Suns?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
Yes, it absolutely is.
Yes.
It absolutely. I agree.
Yes.
But here's what nobody's talking about. Chris Paul had COVID. Whether you believe that or not, I don't believe it, but he was in the
He was out. Yep.
And Devin Booker broke his fucking nose. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about how the Suns have won these games despite those 2 things.
I agree.
Well, nobody would have expected DeAndre Ayton to be the most consistent player.
I did.
Shocker. He did it through 2 rounds.
We did.
I think overall, nobody would have necessarily said to themselves, hey, Ayton might be the most consistent player in a Western Conference Finals series. But that's exactly what he's done. The Suns in general, to me, are just showing their overall prowess. I'm not going to go over it too much. They're the most consistent 8-man rotation in the league. They're the most consistent overall team. You know what you're getting from them pretty much every game. Booker had a couple rough games, but to be honest, I'm not going to give him crap for it, because at the end of the day, I can't expect you to have great games every single game you have in the playoffs. Right? We're not perfect here, guys. So we're not going to have great games every time we play. There's going to be times we don't have the great games.
You want your weekly Marcus Morris stat, gentlemen?
Yeah. Bring it back, baby.
Go ahead.
Marcus Morris and Patrick Beverley, minus 19 combined.
Beautiful.
Well, and that's what they relied on Beverly a lot to get under Booker's skin. And look, I just see it the way that I see it is, I think the Clippers, I think they're on. I think they're low in the gas. I don't see them going too far. I'm with you guys. I feel like the Suns are going to push it and they're going to get through and move on to the finals after tonight. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Zach, do you have anything else?
Just 2 things.
Okay.
DeMarcus Cousins didn't get nearly enough shit
for that awful miss.
Bryce, you were saying Paul George hit the free throw. I think Cousins not knowing the rule of the ball has to hit the rim if you're going to miss intentionally, that's worse.
It's bad. Absolutely is bad.
That's the second time in the series he's just flexing his low IQ. The first time was the Valley-oop when he's standing right in front of Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
And then the second was this time where he just throws it off the rim or off the backboard. It's a joke.
Well, we said it's the block in the back award. He gets the block in the back award.
Absolutely the block in the back award. And Caleb, I want to close my thoughts out with this.
Sure.
A call out.
Oh. Wow.
Our good friend, Alex Burr.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Has been claiming off the record that Devin Booker has been by himself.
Oh, no.
All playoffs.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, this could not be further from the truth. Alex, come on! DeAndre Ayton has been proving that he's I don't know. Most consistent guy on this team, you can make a case. He's not the best guy on the team. It's Devin Booker. But to act like Devin Booker's by himself, it's a joke. It's a joke. I just had to say that.
I mean, I'm just going to end it with that. Bryce, do you have anything else you want to end with that's better?
No, I mean, he's right. I mean, no, Devin Booker is not by himself. Just by watching the game, you can tell he's not by himself. He's got a great supporting cast around him, including a dominant big man in DeAndre Ayton. It's as simple as that.
Booker's the best player on the team.
Look,
he's been outstanding.
Outstanding.
Him by himself.
Look, the way that I see it, should be a fun matchup to see whether they get through to the NBA Finals. We'll have you covered for the next series. I'll be on vacation. You will not get to hear me. We'll have plans. We'll have plans for how we go about that. If Bryce might host again, there could be some collaboration with Power Hour. List goes on. So please be checking that out. We'll have fantastic content for you. We got the Divine Rhyme. We just put out an episode. They just did a Sturgill Simpson, a couple Sturgill Simpson projects. They went through that. Alex Burr, Dylan Hughes on Power Hour. Battleground might be coming out with something. Facts and stats. You name it. There's plenty of content for you. Once again, thank you for coming on, Bryce and Zach. And thank you for the listeners for tuning in.